Hi, Espresso here. I'd like to tell you a few things about the most prolific fish catching lure, bar none, the Catch Freestyle Kabura. The most important thing about lure design is understanding how to trick a predatory fish into believing a lure is food. And that's what lies at the heart of the Freestyle Kabura. Underwater, it looks like a cephalopod. You'll probably know this family of sea creatures by their common names: squid, octopus, cuttlefish, and nautilus. You'll also know that these creatures have tentacles. And all fish have imprinted into their brains that tentacles are food. So that's the first secret. The Catch Freestyle Kabura skirt is made from buoyant rubber, and it looks like tentacles that are alive. It almost always catches fish, and usually outperforms a lot of other lures on the tough fishing days, or when you're fishing outside the bite time. Swimming in the stream of the skirt are two small but super sharp hooks. They need to be that size so that they can be contained within the skirt. The lead head of the lure has a couple of functions. It's a weight to get your lure to the sea floor, and it has a big eye. It's coloured and coated with UV, which will act as an attractant to fish to come over and take a bite. It has a Teflon sleeve through the lure, which allows it to smoothly slide along your leader. Which brings us to the second secret. The sliding head makes a huge difference to hookup rates. Let me explain. Fish don't have hands, so they need to use their mouths to decide if something is food or not. If it doesn't feel right, they'll spit it out. Having the head detached from the skirt means they don't feel this unnatural lead weight, and will keep nibbling away at the skirt until they hit the hooks. When the fish is hooked, they'll turn and run. And the lead head running up your leader creates enough drag in the water to firmly set those hooks into the mouth of the fish. The sliding weight also prevents the fish from throwing the hooks when it shakes its head. Let's get on to how to rig this lure. You can use a spin set or an overhead. It doesn't really make a lot of difference, as long as your rod is matched to the weight of the lure you're using. Tie your fluorocarbon leader onto the braided loop of the skirt. We generally use a low profile knot, such as a uni knot. The important thing is to make sure that the head can easily slide over your knot. Another method some people use is a lefty's loop, which saves you cutting and retying if you want to change out weight or colour. Whatever reel you're using, it has a thing called drag, and you should back your drag off when fishing this lure to avoid putting too much stress on the hooks. Using the Freestyle Kabura is very easy. Drop your lure to the sea floor and wind really, really slowly. And if you think you're winding slowly, wind slower. You need to get your skirt simulating tentacles, drifting in the current, and if you wind too fast, the skirt locks up. So that's the first cardinal rule: wind slowly. The second rule is don't strike, and here's the reason why. When you feel the first bite, it's on the necktie of the skirt, and if you strike, you've ripped the skirt out of the fish's mouth before they've had a chance to get to the hooks. You've got the fish interested, so keep doing what you're doing. Wind slowly, tease the fish up, and when the fish hits the hooks, it'll turn and run. Once again, resist the urge to strike. The hooks are through the skin of the mouth, and you don't want to rip them out. Just keep rod tip pressure on the fish as you wind it in. And take your time, enjoy the journey. The question we hear a lot is, what colour works best? The answer is, they all do. Different colours seem to work better on different days, or at different times of the day. The simple solution is that if your lure isn't catching fish, change to another colour. It can make a big difference. One colour I will draw your attention to is our white warrior. The white ring is glow in the dark, so if you're fishing dawn, dusk, or down deep, this colour is the best one for you to use. Remember to light up the lure with a UV torch or the sun. Another question we get asked is how much weight to use. The Freestyle Kabura works best when your line is as vertical as possible, and of course you do need to get to the bottom. As a rough rule of thumb, you need about 2 grams per metre of water, and a bit more if you have some current. In other words, if you're fishing in up to around 30 metres, you'll need about 60 grams. 40 metres, you'll need at least 80 grams. Don't be afraid to use more weight than you would normally use. There's no hang time in the head, so using a bigger weight like 150 grams will allow you to fish from 10 metres of water to around 80 metres or more. The final point will surprise you. As we mentioned, the Catch Freestyle Kabura is the most prolific fish catching lure bar none. When an aggressive bite comes on, this lure will catch fish. However, we generally take it off and move to a bigger profile, more aggressive lure, such as the bitterbug, double trouble, or the boss. When a larger, hungry, predatory fish needs to expend energy to eat, they'll go for the largest bit of food they can find, which is why bigger lures will mostly result in pulling the bigger fish out of the school. There you have it, the Catch Freestyle Kabura. Every angler needs them in their tackle box. 2 easy to remember rules: wind really slowly and don't strike.
Σ' άρεσε το βιντεάκι? Αν σου άρεσε, πάτα αυτό το κουμπάκι που λέει εγγραφή για να εγγραφείς στο κανάλι μας και να δεις πολλά ωραία βίντεο. Επίσης, σου προτείνουμε να δεις αυτά τα δύο. Είναι πάρα πολύ καλά βιντεάκια. Ευχαριστώ, να είσαι καλά.